After you link tasks, the timescale can get cluttered, making it hard to see which tasks are linked. Project offers a few features that make your schedule easier to see. Well, when you're first working on a task list, you may not want to see the timescale at all. All you want is the names of the tasks and a few pieces of data about each one. Well, in that case, the task sheet is a great view. On the View tab, click the down arrow and choose More Views. Then scroll down until you see Task Sheet, select it, and click Apply. And you can see this view is just one big table, so it's got the task names in the task name column, and then other columns for other fields. You can change the columns in the table so you can see different information about the task. But most of the time, you really want to see this kind of information plus the timescale. So that's where the Gantt chart comes in. You've got the table on the left, and then a visual look at the schedule on the right in the timescale. You can drag the vertical divider to the right so you can see more of the table, or drag to the left if you want to see less of the table and more of the timescale. Now, depending on your task durations and just how much of the project you want to see, you can change the time units in the timescale. So on the View tab, in the Zoom section, go to the timescale box. And if you want to compress the schedule, choose something like months, and you can see the taskbars get very short, and you can see more of a date range. On the other hand, if you want to really zoom in, you can choose days, and the taskbars get really wide, and you can just really see a lot of detail about what's going on. But in this case, I'll go back to weeks. You can also use the zoom slider to change time units, but it's not as accurate as choosing a unit in the timescale box. Down at the bottom right, just drag the zoom slider to the right to zoom in, drag to the left to zoom out. And if you want to move things a little bit, you can always move the horizontal scroll bar down at the bottom to reposition the date range in the timescale. Then to look at specific information about tasks, you can always show the task form. Turn on the Details checkbox, and the task form shows up at the bottom of the window in the Details pane. Well, the great thing with this is if I select a task up at the top in the Gantt chart, then I can see the details about that task at the bottom. And if I choose a different task, information about that task appears in the task form. On the other hand, to go the other direction and get a high-level view of the project, turn on the Timeline checkbox. That shows up at the top of the window, and it's just a great way to get an overview of the project because you see the whole thing in this one simple view, from the start on the left all the way to the finish on the right. You can add taskbars to it to show phases. You can add callouts to flag key events. It's really a great way to show things to the executive team or to your team members. The video on the timeline describes how to work with this view. But let's turn that back off and let's just focus on this schedule. Well, if you need to home in on task links, there's a new feature in Project 2013 that's great for that. So to do that, go to the Format tab, and the first thing to do is turn off Summary Tasks. So over in the Show Hide section, turn off the Summary Task checkbox, and that way you just see the work tasks in your project. Well, we're going to look at the Design Office Space task, and we want to see which tasks are predecessors and successors, but we really want to see what's controlling when this task occurs. And that's where the Task Path feature comes in. So up on the Format tab, click Task Path. And in this case, I'm going to turn on Driving Predecessors. Those are the predecessors that directly control when this task occurs. And you can see a few of the taskbars turn orange. Well, if I click again and choose Predecessors, other taskbars turn yellow. Now I can see, well, these yellow tasks are predecessors, but they don't directly control Design Office Space's start date. The ones in orange do. You can also look at successors. I'll turn on Successors and also Driven Successors. And in this case, the darker purple shows that these tasks are directly controlled by the finish date of the Design Office Space task. There's a lot to look at in a project schedule. The right views and different types of formatting can help you hone in on the information you need.